Roving with the Arts presents Music of Hope, Not Hate. My name is Mick Hess, and I will begin a 25-part series of music written by imprisoned Jewish musicians during World War II in Nazi prison camps. These ill-fated musicians and composers, ensnared in the Holocaust, prevailed by performing and composing music of profound importance and beauty. Their music will live forever. Please join me the second and fourth Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. to discover their music.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them. Whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury, San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Eleven minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Friday morning, May the 28th, 2021. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thank you for joining me here on KSJE 90.9 FM over the air, of course, here in San Juan County, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and streaming everywhere on the planet from our website, KSJE.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching us live this morning on the KSJE YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Twitter account. We're glad that you are with us as well, everyone, because coming up in the next few moments, I'm talking with the one and only Randy West from the Farmington Civic Center. He has got a lot of great plans for this summer, the return of outdoor summer theater and some other things up his sleeve. So he's going to be sharing that with us coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. So stay tuned for that. Next hour, Mick Hess will take us roving with the arts. He is featuring music from the great Dvorak this morning. You'll hear some of that coming up at 9:06 on KSJE. And today at noon, it is a Cop Shop week, so we'll be welcoming folks from the Farmington Police Department at noon today for the Cop Shop with FPD. You can hear it at 12:06, or you can watch it Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter right here on our social media platforms. And speaking of social media, don't forget, right, you can check us out on Instagram as well, in addition to Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it is a sunny morning so far. It's 58 degrees in Farmington here at San Juan College. We're expecting a mostly sunny Friday today, the high 85 this afternoon, clear and 52 tonight. It'll be partly cloudy tomorrow. I'd call it partly sunny, with a high of 87 degrees on Saturday and a low of 52. Sunshine 85 again on Sunday and an overnight low of 57. And then for Memorial Day, maybe a chance of a shower with a high of 73 and a low of 49. And then more sunshine on Tuesday with a high again reaching near 80 degrees. Well, let me introduce my guest who is here with me this morning. He's in the studio, which is always fun to have a live in-studio guest after a year of virtual guests. Randy West is here from the Farmington Civic Center. Welcome back to KSJE.
Scott, it is so kind of you to have me back. Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you back. And
it's nice to be anywhere these days.
No kidding, to be seen, right?
Yes.
Exactly, in person, though. It's wonderful to have you here, and even more wonderful to hear what you have planned for the summer, because we're all ready to kind of get back to some semblance of normalcy and gather and be entertained, and that is right up your alley.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got a call from the city manager and the powers that be, and
you
said,
always answer those calls.
I do.
I answer the call from the city manager. If he calls, you answer.
And they said, could you possibly get Sandstone open for the summer? And I said, sure. What do you want? And they said, well, what about a series of something? And
okay.
I said, okay.
There you go.
Do you want concerts? Do you want events? What do you want? And they said, well, what would you suggest? And I said, well, to be really honest, for my people, if we did like 6 or 8 different things, that's a real stress on us in a because Sandstone isn't open year round. So we deal with a little different set of security because of our equipment and things. So if I suggested maybe a concert in June and then a musical in July and then another concert in August, which is what they bought.
There you go.
That's what we're doing.
Okay.
So on
very exciting.
Yes. So it's a little summer season,
Right.
And basically, what it was actually Julie I was talking with, the assistant city manager, and Julie said,
You answer her calls too.
I do,
and I do too.
Absolutely,
And her texts. Yes.
And she said, try to put together something that's family friendly. And I said, absolutely happy to do it. So on June 26th, we have a country western band that I've known about for years, and I booked them 3 or 4 times over the years that I've known them. They're called the Doo-Wah Riders, DOO/Wah, WAH, Doo-Wah Riders.
Uh-huh.
And they are a really high energy, fun country band. And
Nice.
they do everything from, they play the Bonanza theme, and they play the Lone Ranger theme, and they do things like Ghost Riders in the Sky. And it's really... it's not just music, it's high energy, fun, entertaining music. And when I said to them, I said, Sandstone is basically going to be performing on a platform in front of people. They said, we've done a lot of that, and we'd love to come out to Farmington. So, and part of the challenge to do this summer is nobody's really touring yet. So they're out of Phoenix, and so I just asked them, will you drive from Phoenix to Farmington? They said absolutely. And then I suggested that we combine Sandstone Productions and Four Corners Musical Theater, which is the professional musical theater company I was asked to found here, and do a combined production of Mamma Mia for 4 weeks in July. So on July 8th, we're opening Mamma Mia, and we're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all at 7:30. So 4 shows a week for 4 weeks. And we close on August 1st. And then...
And I just want to remind folks, this is the great musical, Mamma Mia, with the music from ABBA that folks will remember. I mean, this is what you're planning.
Mamma Mia is probably... I've done Mamma Mia before.
Right.
And before I did Mamma Mia, I was a little skeptical of it. I mean, it had had a big run on Broadway.
Sure.
Everybody says that people are jumping up and down and dancing in the aisles, and everybody's singing, and it's one of the best good time musicals. And I just said, really, with ABBA music, I said, because I certainly know that there are jukebox musicals. I mean, scores from, like there was a Beatles, there was a Beach Boys. I mean, that there have been other bands. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you that most of them have not been very successful. Now, the Beatles, the Circus LA does a great Beatles show.
Oh, no kidding.
But that's with the real Beatles music.
Right.
That's the Beatles doing the Beatles.
That's right.
And then they do acrobatics around
and then they're flipping upside down with bicycles and whatever.
That's a different kind of blend for me. But to actually try to get a rock
But when you
score,
bring that to Sandstone, you call me, because I want to be a sponsor of that show. Yes, sir.
I've seen it twice. It's mind-blowing.
Right.
But then I was asked to do Mamma Mia, and I got together a really strong cast, and we did it. And even before we opened it, those of us that were going to do it had already fallen in love with it. And it's not because the plot is so strong. Mm-hmm. It's because the characters that they wrote integrated into the ABBA music are so endearing.
Right.
And it's warm, and it's fun, and it's funny, and by the end, pretty much everybody is bought in and singing and dancing, and it's just a great time by the time you're winding down to the end of Mamma Mia. And when I proposed this, Julie said, well, I know that last year you wanted to do Mamma Mia, and you wanted to do it. I literally was bringing in a a celebrity over the title in Mamma Mia.
Right.
And right now, the Actors Union is really kerfluffled over COVID still.
Right.
So we're doing this with professional actors, but we're not bringing union actors in, which means like I couldn't bring in a television, somebody that's a name in a television series
Right.
this summer to be in Mamma Mia,
Okay.
because that just can't happen.
Right.
So I said, I'll do it with professional people. And the reason I want to do it is I think it's the perfect musical to bring us out of COVID.
Yeah.
And when they heard that, they said, well, let's do Mamma Mia.
There you go.
And then on August 7th, I'm bringing Outrageous back on that Saturday. And when we had Outrageous as part of our family and kids program last year, and once again, they're not touring because they're about 2.5 hours away from us in New Mexico.
Right.
So they're just driving up to do the concert. And they are a combination of the creative arts and the performing arts. And basically during their show, they take 5 big canvases that are 5 feet by 8 feet.
Right.
And they're black. And 2 or 3 different people work on a canvas at a time, painting with everything from small brushes to great big brushes. And they start with these big strokes of paint, and you have no idea what they're doing. And at the same time they're doing that, the other part of the company is a band, and they sing and they dance, and they have a light show. And so all this music and dance, and when they come in, when the audience enters, they pass out to the kids glow sticks.
Nice.
And so while they're singing and dancing, they're doing movement with the kids and the family members that are connected to the glow sticks. So not that any of it matters to the audience, but everything they're doing is educationally solid.
Right.
Is that they're matching movement to music and rhythm to movement, and it's like laying in all the beginning building blocks for beginning performing arts.
Right. In front of your eyes.
In front of your eyes. Without you even knowing. It's like eating vegetables and not even know you're getting your vegetables.
Sneaky.
And it is sneaky. And but I will tell you, at intermission, when we did it here in Farmington, I had 3 middle school teachers come up to me and say, oh my goodness, this is the best initiation into both the creative and performing arts we've ever seen. Will you please bring these people back? And I said, yes, I'm happy to. And I got to know them when I had no idea, that they were 2.5 hours away from here.
Right.
And so we're actually bringing them in August, and then we're trying to, everything is still a little up in the air.
Sure.
In terms of what we're doing in the fall and the spring. I mean, I have a proposed schedule, but we haven't signed any contracts yet because...
Right. Well, as you mentioned, folks aren't really touring, and so as some of this stuff comes back online, then you can start getting into that schedule, I guess, right? And sign some of these contracts.
It's all going to happen late this year, and
Yeah.
that's just a fact.
Right.
But I have a hole for them, and we're hoping that they'll be able to come back and do a residency where they spend 2 or 3 days in town working with local young people and then do a performance.
Nice.
And they also, they're not locked to Santa Fe or Albuquerque or any town in New Mexico. And they said, is Farmington interested in being a home base for us? And I said, I'm sure we would be. We everything is once again a little up in the air because of COVID. But
Sure.
what they were talking about is coming to Farmington and doing work that they're working on to then tour nationally.
Try
and
it
so
out,
getting
like,
the
give us a
bugs
little-
out of it,
yeah.
trying to see how well it works with the kids, and really interacting in a way with our local young people that they don't get to in a 90-minute show.
Right.
And I said, actually, part of what I was asked to do when I came here was help start defining Farmington culturally. And certainly we know we love country western music, and I'm booking that. But also, the mix around that. And I think a group like this that comes into town once or twice a year and works with our kids and then goes off on a national tour would be a nice mix into our cultural base.
No kidding. Very true.
So we're looking at that. But they're coming in on August 7th.
Okay. So those 3 shows this summer, all out at Sandstone, out at Lions Wilderness Park
all at
Amphitheater.
7:30.
All at 7:30. And the tickets are screamingly
Wait, you
affordable.
You won't believe this. Is that I
didn't believe it when I heard it, ladies and gentlemen.
I had a ticket price based on the fact that this is really, Mamma Mia, for example, I have 14 jobbed-in professional musical theater people that do this for a living, that are flying in to rehearse for 2 weeks and perform for 4 weeks. And then I have 14 local and regional talents from our area that make up the rest of the cast. So we're half
professional,
outsourced, and half mental. And what we've done in the past where I founded a company like this is I hired really talented professionals, but all of them understand that what we're doing is growing base talent in Farmington. And we do a professional style of musical theater that is called integrated musical theater. And it's a professional style that's based on acting choices. And we basically say that if at any time your performance is about a dance step or about a lyric, that's not based on an acting choice. And they used to say that there's legitimate acting and then there's musical theater acting. Well,
Who said that?
I always objected to it because if we're not legitimate, I'm not sure what that makes us.
Right.
But I would say that we are a legitimate acting style. It's just different than traditional acting in that there's a variety of ways to create characters that are big enough that within this style they can act, and then when they have an emotion or they have an energy that's bigger than the dialogue, they just go up one more step and they can start singing. And then within this style, if they encounter a bigger emotion or a bigger energy, they start to sing and dance. But it's all tied to the book and the acting choices. And I've done a thing with a musical number with 35 people singing and dancing. I've stopped the number and walked up to individuals and said, right now, what's your acting choice? And they better not say it's a dance step or a lyric, because you can't act a dance step. And when I say that, people say, well, wait a minute. If you have 35 people all acting individual acting choices at the same time, doesn't that make it muddled? And it doesn't, because as long as their acting choice is appropriate to what's going on in the musical in that moment, that acting choice will work. And what that does, once you learn to look for it, what that does is when everybody's working off of an acting choice, where you really see it is behind everybody's eyes. Because as an actor, then, their eyes are informed. And it's the difference between, if you go and see a very fine show choir, their energy, some of them do everything, but there are show choirs that their energy is so focused on the technique. Same thing as you go to a dance recital. When you go to a dance recital, many times their focus is on the dance technique alone. Well, musical theater is an art form that integrates acting, singing, and dancing. And so the way that we find to integrate that is tying it all to the acting. And once you get that coaching and you understand that, and then the other thing that we do is we talk about the body and the fact that there used to be a singing chorus and a dancing chorus and a group of actors that played the leads. Now, economics in professional musical theater, we have to hire people that can sing, dance, and act. So, yeah, also, in a place like Sandstone holds 500 people, we're out there with 26, whatever we end up with. Those 26 people have to fill that 500-seat theater, just like if in the olden days you could have 35 people out there. And if we get my original idea that was going to be last summer was going to be 3 musicals, one at the Civic Center, one at Sandstone, the third one back at the Civic Center, and the third one was going to be Annie. And by the time we got to Annie, we had 45 local people integrated with the professionals, many of the local people playing supporting leads and very involved in what's going on. And what we found in the past is when people come and train with us in the summer, they then go back the next year to their schools or their community theaters. And hopefully, anybody who's met me since I've been here, hopefully one of the takeaways is I don't think there's a snobby bone in my body regarding the performing arts. I totally support educational performing arts, community performing arts, and professional performing arts. They all have their purpose, and when they can, I love when we can integrate them and then separate them so they go out and do individual things. But that when they hired me, one of the things that I talked about is if we build a professional program, I really want to sink it into the community. And so Mamma Mia is really the first time that we get to do that. Now, because of COVID and we there's still some things that are unknowns, we're more conservative right now than we would have been last summer.
Well, sure.
But next summer, we hope to grow the program where it's truly community integrated.
Right. But this is very exciting, though, that we're getting something this summer. And
so I had originally priced it to be priced for a professional ticket for the structure that it was. And Julie talked with Rob, the city manager, and Julie called me and said, what if you moved your tickets to $15 for adults and $12 for students, children, and senior citizens? And I said, I'm delighted to do that. I said, it's going to make it a little harder for us to break even. And they said, we want your 3 summer shows to be something that helps Farmington come out of COVID, that we want to have it be something that puts COVID behind us and we come together as a community in a great community facility to have a great time. And I said, as long as that's what you want, I'm happy to do it. And then the very next day, the Maines Foundation, which has been in Farmington for many years, called me, and they had asked for a copy of the budget for Mamma Mia, and they called and said the Maines Foundation would like to underwrite all the cost of all the professional talent for Mamma Mia, and we also would like to help with the cost of their travel and their accommodations. Well, suddenly, when that chunk of the budget was covered, moving the tickets down to 15 and 12 was much easier to do. And then we're now going to this new program, which is Show Tix for You. And that's literally, you go to FMTN, which is like Farmington with no vowels.
Right.
So FMTN.org/shows, and it shows plural. And then that takes you to that Showtix website where you can buy individual, and you can just go to our website and we can send you there. But but that takes you to the Showtix page where you can buy individual tickets. But we are doing a Flex Pass just for this summer, where if you buy the Flex Pass summer season at Showtix for You for $15. I'm sorry, I'm lying like I'm dying.
That's all right.
For $20, you can buy all 3 shows. So you can get a ticket to Do Our Riders, a ticket to Mamma Mia, and a ticket and Mamma Mia any night you want.
Right.
And a ticket to Artrageous for $20. And if you're a student, a senior, or a child, you can get a ticket to all 3 shows on a Flex Pass for $15.
I'm not a math guy or a business guy, but that seems outrageous.
It's really great.
Outrageous.
Yes.
How's that?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
There you go.
But and I can't imagine when you talk to your peers in the theater industry and you tell them what you're able to charge for tickets, they must think you're crazy.
Well, it's really the combination of the city wanting to make this available to the people in Farmington, and then the Maines Foundation coming in and just taking the whole middle of my budget and paying for it.
Yeah. And I just want to remind the audience that, I mean, the quality of the
Thank you.
programs that you bring and the actors that you find to come here, even if they're under the title. It doesn't matter,
Right.
to me
Right.
at the moment, because they put on a quality show.
Absolutely.
And for the price that if folks wanted to go see this, say, in another town that maybe rhymes with Albuquerque, they
Yes.
would pay a lot more money than $15
Absolutely.
for a ticket.
Many, many times
with the same people.
Right, for the same caliber of people. You're right.
So I just want to remind folks of this, of what we have literally in our own backyard that you're bringing to town.
And what we've been doing while we've been closed for COVID.
Right.
Is that we have redone so much of Sandstone.
I've heard that you have been really busy out there.
The whole pavilion is revamped, new canvases.
Nice.
The bathrooms have been redone. The kitchen is now completely, it's a total catering kitchen now.
Nice.
And we went down and all the masonry and the brick and the seating area is fixed. And in the acting area, the 3 acting areas used to be built out of wood. Mm-hmm. The foundation is still wood, but we tore up the wood that was on top.
Right.
And we've put in Retrex, which is plastic wood.
Gotcha.
So it'll never rot.
Right.
And there used to be a thing that sat out there on one platform that got rebuilt every year.
That's a theater term.
That's right.
A thing. Yeah.
It kind of looked like a rectangle, but it wasn't a definitive rectangle. That is right now being built into a casita, a 2-story casita with a balcony that we will decorate as a taverna for Mamma Mia.
Right.
But then when we're done, it'll be repainted into being a New Mexican-looking casita. Now, coming in right after Mamma Mia and Outrageous is the theater ensemble, which is the local community theater.
TEA, right? Theater Ensemble
and
Arts.
They are doing Midsummer Night's Dream
Shakespeare,
in August,
yes.
and they are setting it on a Greek island.
Oh.
So we're all Greek
See,
this
there you
summer.
go.
So we said any part of our set that works for you, you
Right.
can repaint it, you can revamp it, but it's supposed to be Greek.
And
So
we've
they're-
seen that transformation throughout the seasons, of course. And
Absolutely.
It's very versatile, which is probably how you designed it, right?
Right.
So for future shows, it could be Greek Island, it could be a New Mexican casita, it could be the rooftops of London again.
Absolutely.
It could be who knows what you've got planned.
But it is a fully rebuilt, but
Nice.
we're leaving it there in a fashion that during the year, if you want to do a concert or if you want to do a wedding at Sandstone, there isn't a rectangle thing that doesn't look like anything. There's a casita that can be decorated or can be integrated into your wedding or your event
Right.
or your concert.
Which is another part of your job
Right.
as supervisor of booking other events for these spaces.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of folks don't realize that, you could have an event at Lions Wilderness Park Amphitheater if
You
it's
can.
available for
can.
something like an outdoor wedding.
We do receptions.
And now that you've got the
we do
kitchen all
parties.
upgraded, you could have the reception just up the hill and,
Well, and even,
set it up, right?
Even this summer, we have our kitchen open and we do concessions, which we do popcorn and candy and Cokes. And we're bringing in food trucks again.
Right, okay.
And along with the food trucks, we're bringing in our buddy from Clancy's.
Yes.
Is coming in. Louis
Nice.
from Clancy's.
Louis
Everybody
coming
knows
back.
Louis.
Good.
And they're not only doing adult beverages for the events, for Mamma Mia, they're doing a margarita plastic cup that says Mamma Mia on it,
Okay.
and they're doing margaritas and daiquiris, so that
Nice.
we're in full blown
Wow.
summer yaha.
If that doesn't get us out of COVID, nothing will, Randy West. I tell you, that's exciting.
So it should just be a great time.
And so folks can we go and buy tickets now?
You can.
Okay, you've got the dates are set, right?
They
So
are.
and so we're all planning, and I guess depending on
And it-
everything's somewhat flexible.
And everybody knows Rita, who's been at the Civic Center forever and is my dear, dear friend. Rita is available at 505-599-1148. And if any part of what we talked about here is confusing,
Sure.
or if you go to the website and it's the way it works is you go on a Flex Pass and you get a code, and then you go back, and then when you pick your tickets, and then when you're ready to buy your tickets, you put in that code, and the code pays for the tickets.
That's how it works.
So it's a
Gotcha.
two-step thing.
Okay.
We got through it yesterday, and
It works.
there's also a little chat button right there you can hit if you're in the process and it's complicated.
Okay.
But if it gets complicated, you can call Rita at 599-1148. And if you have any questions about the Civic Center, which is trying to open. We're slowly opening back up to events now. We're still in turquoise.
Right.
We're hoping that maybe in June we'll get closer to being totally open, but we'll see.
Right. The state has said that when we get to 60% fully vaccinated, the colors will go away, and that should be towards middle to end of June. We're hoping. So
we
have to wait and see what happens.
We're all holding our breath and thinking happy thoughts.
Right.
But if that happens, then we'll open considerably more open. Right now we're open at turquoise at the Civic Center, and basically we're indoors, so that's at about a 33%.
Right.
Now,
but
right now, outdoors 75%.
At Lions,
so we're at 75%. So that's a big difference.
Correct.
We are doing Mamma Mia with a live band. Some people care whether or not it's tracks or a live band. We're doing a live band. And so we really tried to think of everything that would create high energy, good time, a celebration of the summer of 2021.
There you go. Well, it's wonderful to think about this happening. And the live band is something else I wanted to pick up on, Randy West, because you have been credited with saying that you wanted to hire real live musicians and give them a paying gig when you can. Right. And this is one of those examples.
This is one example where everybody's hired and they're great players.
Yeah.
So it should be a good, fun
local
band,
talent, right?
All within the region.
Yeah.
Well, the musical director is from out of town.
Okay.
But the rest of the band is all local.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and just, you mentioned it earlier, coming end of June, the TODA theater in downtown Farmington is going to pass from the county to the city. The county's doing the renovation right now. We get the building in the end of June, and then we have to do some renovation in the building. And then hopefully in the fall, the TODA will be opening back up for not only for rentals, but we'll be putting programming in there. And we believe Four Corners Film is going to be putting programming in there. So, and it's a facility that has a full digital cinema in it, so we'll be showing films, and certainly a slant toward New Mexican or local filmmaking, and independent filmmaking,
And but it becomes under your purview, I guess, as another facility, that the city can use and rent and offer to the community,
And we're also going to be putting a sound and light package in there, so it'll be able to do smaller events, a band. I've had a couple of people, there's some groups that perform in town that, have already contacted me and said, is the TODA going to be available for us to perform? Theater ensembles interested, but also some singing groups in town have used the TODA in the past. And that's all totally in the mix. That's and once again, the whole idea of that is just to get some energy in the downtown. That's added energy.
Indeed. Well, and another, I guess, space to have available, because not everybody can fill your humongous Civic Center theater.
That's correct.
That's a lot of butts and seats, for lack of a better term.
We've been telling people sometimes in the past to rent a room or two rooms at the Civic Center to do a smaller performing. Now we'll literally have a performing site that's 2 blocks away. Right.
And so it's another great jewel in the city's crown for performing arts, I guess I would say.
That's what we hope, and we're delighted.
And you're the guy to program it, because you have a lot of contacts in the industry and a lot of things in your head, I know, swimming around that you just can't wait to tell us about.
I have some things that I'm delighted to try there. But also make it available for hopefully that's another thing, is that most people should tell you I'm a very happy co-venture guy. So if you have an idea for a project or a plan or a class, and the best way to make that work is to do it with the Civic Center, my door is always open. Come see me. And that's the other thing. My number is just like Rita's. We're both 505. I'm 599-1150. And like everybody in the city, my email is rwest for Randy West, RWEST @fmtn.org.
There you go. And you get right to them. So perfect. Well, Randy West, it's always exciting to talk to you, to hear your energy for the performing arts in our community.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're still in our community and that we put you to work during COVID. And I know you weren't sitting around just eating bonbons.
No, we did a lot of work.
You were doing a lot of, I heard that the basement of the Civic Center is clean, and of course all the work at Lions Wilderness Park and all the other things, very exciting.
We
Things that you-
redid all the contracts at the Civic Center, and
Yeah.
we just created a computer-based rental program. So that's all new.
Wow, that
Yeah.
doesn't sound easy at all.
It's a little bit of a challenge, but it will make everything easier.
But some of these things you could really only do when you're shut down
That's
for a few weeks at a time, and in normal times that never happens.
Right.
So you used the time to your advantage,
Thank
and
you.
we're so grateful. And can't wait to
Thank
see the performances this summer out at Lions Wilderness Park. It will help us get out of COVID, and we're glad that you're the guy to do it. Thank you.
Happy to get to play.
Thank you, Randy. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
Randy West, the supervisor from the Farmington Civic Center, my guest this morning here on KSJE.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Companies just can't stop promising that AI can do things it either can't or shouldn't do. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace Tech. I'm Molly Wood.
Marketplace Tech is supported by CyberReason, a cybersecurity company dedicated to helping companies end cyber attacks on computers, mobile devices, servers, and the cloud. Details at cyberreason.com. And by HBR, empowering organizations to realize their full potential with real-time data, fresh data, where you need it. HBR-software.com.
The insurance company Lemonade is all about automation. To file claims, customers upload a selfie video, and Lemonade's chatbot, AI Jim, will handle some claims automatically. On Twitter this week, Lemonade got in trouble, suggesting that AI handles fraud detection and uses nonverbal cues to assess some claims. Researchers said that capability doesn't exist and could be discriminatory if it did. Lemonade quickly downplayed how much AI it uses and said it's not based on